Imagine opening a rusty metal gate and walking into a place where forgotten cars do not die. Rows of faded paint, chrome buried under dust, headlights staring like sleepy eyes. There are no polished show cars here, no velvet ropes, no perfect restorations, just more than 1,300 cars, rescued from junkyards, fields, and barns, all gathered in one strange, beautiful place that some people call the Island of Misfit Cars. Today on Timeless Treasures, we are going inside. Places like this do not happen by accident. Behind every collection of misfit cars, there is usually one person with a strange mix of vision, obsession, and maybe a little bit of madness. Years ago, this person started like many of us. They saved one car. Maybe it was an old sedan that reminded them of their parents. Maybe it was a coupe they always wanted as a teenager. Maybe it was just a car that looked too sad to leave behind in a field. They told themselves, I'm saving it from the crusher. I will fix it one day. Then one car became two. Two became five. Five became 50. At some point, they stopped counting. They were not just collecting cars. They were rescuing stories that everyone else had decided to forget. Not every car in this place is rare. Not every car is valuable. Some are strange one-year-only models. Some are base versions of cars everyone else wanted in high trim. Some were simply born at the wrong time. Too small when the world wanted big. Too thirsty when the world wanted economy. Too weird when the world wanted safe and normal. A misfit car is not a failure. It is a car that never found the audience it deserved while it was new. Maybe the styling was too bold. Maybe the marketing was confused. Maybe it cost just a little too much for what it offered. In the showroom, these cars sat in the corner. On the used market, they were the ones left over, when everything else found a new home. But here on the Island of Misfit Cars, they finally belong. No one laughs at them. No one rushes past them. They are all equally strange, and that makes them equal. If you walk these rows slowly, you begin to notice something. Every car has a reason for being here. This faded blue station wagon, it once carried kids to school, dogs to the park, luggage to summer vacations. This tired two-door coupe, it was someone's first fast car. The one they washed every weekend. The one they revved in tunnels just to hear the echo. This little economy car with dents on every panel, it probably spent its life in crowded city streets, surviving tight parking spots and careless bumpers. The paint is gone. The tires are flat. The interiors smell like old fabric and dust. But if you look closely, you see old parking stickers, faded dealership badges, children's stickers on a rear window, traces of lives still attached to steel and glass. On the Island of Misfit Cars, no one car is the star. The collection itself is the story. A question naturally comes up. If many of these cars will never be perfectly restored, why save them at all? Why not let them be crushed, recycled, turned into something new? The answer depends on how you see cars. If you see a car only as a machine, then yes, maybe this is just a field of wasted metal. But if you see cars as part of our human story, then this place is a physical memory. You do not have to restore every car to honor it. Sometimes just keeping it from being erased is enough. A cracked dashboard still shows the design language of its time. A rusty fender still carries the curve that a designer drew with pride decades ago. Future restorers, artists, and dreamers can walk these rows and learn. They can take inspiration, parts, or even one complete car and give it a second life. The rest stand as witnesses to the millions of cars that were not saved. They remind us how quickly normal things can disappear. if no one fights for them? Of course, in a place with more than 1,300 cars, there are also surprises. Behind a row of ordinary sedans, you might notice a familiar roofline. Under a dusty tarp, the shape of a sports coupe appears. A rare option package, a limited production model, a car that, if it were clean and running, would draw a crowd at any show. Here it sits quietly among everything else. The owner of a collection like this usually knows where the true gems are. They can point and say, that one is one of only a few thousand. That one has the high output engine. That one has a factory color. Almost no one ordered. But they do not hide these cars in a separate, private building. They leave them here among the misfits as if to say, yes, it is special, but so are the others in their own way. Finding these hidden gems is part of the magic. It turns every visit into a treasure hunt. Keeping more than 1,000 cars from disappearing is not easy. Land costs money. Storage costs money. Even doing nothing takes effort. Grass has to be cut. Paths have to be kept clear. Paperwork has to be managed. Some cars may be sold to fund the rescue of others. Some may become parts donors, sacrificing themselves so that another misfit can live again. On quiet days, the owner might walk alone between the roads, mentally making lists. This one can be saved. That one is too far gone. This one will wait until the right person appears. From the outside, it might look like a chaotic parking lot, but for the person in charge, it is a living, breathing project, always changing, never truly finished. There is a quiet weight to being the last line between these cars and the crusher. So what is the future of an island of misfit cars? Some will leave. They will be adopted by new owners, loaded onto trailers, and taken to small garages where a long, patient restoration will begin. Others will be parted out, their useful pieces living on, in cars that still roam the streets. A few will stay here until nature finally claims them. Sun, rain, and time will slowly turn steel into dust. But even then, they will have lasted longer than most people expected, and the memory of this place will survive. In photos, videos, and in the minds of those who walked these rows and felt something, because that is the real value of a collection like this. It is not measured in auction prices or insurance values. It is measured in the feeling you get when you stand in the middle of it all and realize how much of our human story was carried by ordinary cars. Cars that someone decided were worth saving. Most of us will never own more than 1,000 cars. We may never have our own island of misfit machines, but we can learn something from the people who build places like this. They remind us that value is not always about perfection. Sometimes it is about refusing to let something disappear just because it is no longer fashionable, profitable, or shiny. Maybe you have your own misfit car, a project that has been sitting too long, a family car you cannot let go, a little hatchback that means nothing to anyone else, but everything to you. That car does not have to win awards to be a treasure. If this visit to the Island of Misfit Cars stirred something in you, leave a like, subscribe to Timeless Treasures, and tell me in the comments if you could save one forgotten car from a field or a junkyard, what would it be and why? We have many more stories coming from the edges of the automotive world where the misfits, the forgotten, and the almost lost finally get their time in the light.